What is up, Ludy Bros Army? It's your boy, Big Bro Lamar Ludy, sitting down to go over the third and final round from Rising Phoenix Odyssey's YouTube Creator Tournament. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. We're going to jump right into this. And with me today is one of the members of Team Nimbus. This is one of Void's teammates, a super shy guy. So how are you doing today, man?
What's going on, everybody? I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I want to pass things
two
over
toxic
to
decks
go
right
ahead.
now.
Say that
I was
again.
just saying, we're seeing two toxic decks right now, in my opinion.
Two toxic decks. You're gonna have to go a little bit more in depth with that. Tell me what is toxic about Android 21.
Everything about it. I hate this leader. Ban it. When Bandai asked me on the survey, what do you want to change? I said, ban this leader. I hate it. I can't play blue around it because always. No, I'm just kidding. Android 21 is just. I mean, it's different, right? But it feels like it has a very it's something that we've seen throughout the game, right? These untapped leaders, even though it's not automatic, it pretty much still kind of is automatic, like having an untapped 3 for all your stuff. I mean, we saw with SS3, right? SS3 got banned. We saw it with Gamma got banned. Like new SS3 just doesn't have the draw power still, so that's why it's not there. But Android 21 being able to restand 3 of your opponent's stuff and then use it as energy, ignoring barrier, is honestly just disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that actually in the last round 2, that Void got the win in that round. If you haven't checked that video out, go ahead and check it out. But I mean, he was playing stuff from his side of the field over to Magenta, and then he was tapping it for his own plays. And it's just like, man, that's so crazy how you're able to just basically give yourself extra energy like that.
Yeah, it's not it's honestly just insane. I mean, like, because this deck is all about not just like all around advantage, right? Like aside from hand advantage, especially board presence, and board presence means nothing to 21 because they'll just tap everything down. So it's like, oh, okay. And then play their negate that tells you, you have to discard a card and stack from Z energy just to be able to swing again with anything that's not a leader. It's like it's too much of a floodgate, in my opinion. But it costs a lot.
How do you feel about Android? Like, do you consider this the best deck in the meta?
No, it's up there for sure. It's hard. I feel like we're kind of leaning towards almost a triangle format, because clearly with how well Gohan is doing right now, being, and it's which naturally should be pretty easy against. Sorry, that's my puppers being easy against 21. 21 having a good matchup against that because uses energy, but because of how aggro it can be or hand control it can be, like depending on how it's built, people can get around it a lot easier because it's just big bodies that are going for cheap or nothing. And then outside of 21, I think like Cumber and Trunks like kind of have like I personally do feel like they have a say in the format too, just because of how aggressive they can be.
Right. I've actually been noticing that lately too, is SSG Trunks getting a lot more play. It got that Z leader. It got that new one drop Supreme Kai battle card. So that's really kind of helped the deck. Here now we've seen it topping in a few different regionals.
Yeah, because Trunks always had the possibility, just deck thinning, and Stage saying deck thinning is deck winning, but being able to thin the deck and just play stuff for free or like very little energy is always very scary. And then also Supreme Kai of Time is also trying to make a run for that too, with their new cards that they have access to. And honestly, just the 30k Goku that can play a Vegeta for one cost, that's also a 30k. That's a 30k crit is just insane right now. I mean, we saw that with Dark Broly, right? Just getting hit in the face with 30ks is just not a fun thing to deal with.
No, it's not. Speaking of playing things out for very cheap, I mean, that's what Magenta does in this particular matchup. Magenta's tapping 1 to play stuff out on the leader's awakened side, and then it has that villainous tag that's been hitting the hand. In round 1 of this matchup, VG Time was able to take Void's hand basically down to 0 to kind of finish off the game. Do you think there's going to be any sort of hand control that Bandai is going to reintroduce back into the game?
Man, it's hard. Hand control, like untapping energy is like not the best for the game, but like there are ways around it.
Hmm.
Hand control, I feel like is too powerful in this game, especially if they
Hmm.
get early hand control, like we're seeing now with Magenta, like just being able to control Void's hand.
Hmm.
I mean, and I'm a dirtbag. I play OG Broly, so like I want to do hand control more often. I want that deck to be good, but it's not the most. I don't know. It's not fun to play against or play with,
Right.
honestly.
And it's amazing because we draw so much cards in Dragon Ball Super card game that there's still strategies out there that can literally have you sitting there with nothing in your hand. So we do have to be careful. I'm kind of glad that Bandai took out Cell back in the day. And but I do like how they reintroduced it. I feel like with Magenta, it's much more under control. And VG Time is a very good pilot. He's been able to really control how he's hitting the hand here against Void.
Yeah, it's that's the other thing too, right? Is like you don't really want 21 to get going. I mean, yeah, Void is able to play a Z battle card 21 to kind of ramp up and catch up in energy and like, act like he went first.
Hmm.
But it's still not an easy thing because you see it only has like looks like 4 cards in hand at this point.
Hmm.
And like yes, granted, it's a lot more difficult and more pilot heavy and you need the experience with Magenta, but because especially with the way the rules are now with Z energy and like all the Z battle cards he has access to, that also makes it easier because you're tapping when you're playing it, then you just use it as combo power just to stay alive. Like that's what I can tell is gonna happen from here after he awakens, because obviously you want to take those life and be able to go real full force.
Hmm. It looks
As
like
you see
here we're
here,
seeing
the
the
D magic going
D
down to
magic.
4.
Yep. And that's the
Oldie
thing
but
with
goodie.
blue. You're never tapped. We've been talking about that all game long between these two players. Is like every time you think, okay, maybe he's got him, then no, here he comes, restanding energy, able to extend his defense, making the game just grind it out.
Yeah, it's what you have to do against 21, right? Like you have to as 21, you have to like just basically control the board state as much as you can until you get your big bombs out, because
Hmm.
that's really what it comes down to. Whether it's the 4 drop that just has dual attack double strike, or even the secret to ramp 2 life, which is also an insane SCR for that. The fact that it
Hmm.
gives you more life. But still, it's a card that like it's a deck that once it stabilizes and it gets to that point, it's hard to deal with. But that's why Magenta has such a good matchup, right? Is because you're hand controlling, so they're not stabilizing as as well as they would if they played against a regular deck.
Hmm. We did see in round two, after they had their first round and Villainous was able to really tax the hand. We saw in round two the side. This is a best of 3, so that both players are able to side. And we saw Void bringing in those Deborahs. So those have, and I've noticed on some other videos that those Deborahs have made their way back into a lot of people's decks. What other decks are out there that are taxing the hand? Can you think of any off the top of your head?
Yeah, actually, not to spoil any spice, but there are people at our locals that are using playing the new they're playing the new cell, but
Hmm.
they're playing the 4 drop negate that, and they're evolving perfect 4 cell. So it's funny that you
Oh,
said Bandai hitting cell earlier, but they're using that 4 drop cell to evolve on top of, yes, it's a heavy cost, but perfect 4 cell to be like, hey, your hand goes down to 3 is always going to be a terrible feeling, no matter how
right,
big your hand is.
right. Oh man. Yeah, so a lot of people have been starting to bring those, and I know that each color has their card that can do something similar. But bringing back those Deborahs as the generic one is very good because you're able to just kind of protect your hand a bit when you play them out and you draw 2.
Yeah, it's a definitely a good card against hand control, but it does suck because it's being a black card, it's off color, so it can
Mm-hmm.
mess up your charges, especially if you see them too early, and like you don't have the energy to use the Deborahs or whatever reason. It feels bad if you have, like, let's say you side in 3 and you have 2 out of the 5 cards in your hand are them.
Right,
It's not a good feeling.
right. Well, here in this matchup here, getting back to the action, it looks like Magenta's done a reasonable job of shrinking the hand size down for Android 21, and he seems to have a bit more field presence too from 21. Looks like about 3 or 4 cards only in the hand for Android 21.
Yeah, it's not. It's looking like a rough start right now. I mean, he did get the Z Battle card on without a hitch, but at what cost? Like he
Mm-hmm.
just he lost so many resources at this point, and he's going to his turn now. Trying to figure out what he's going to do here. He's going to do the restand of the 2 battle cards.
Okay.
So he's deciding what to charge. Or so what to play.
And even then, knowing that and I feel like that might be on his mind too. At the beginning of the game, like I said, I wasn't sure how ready he was to face Magenta or how much playing time Void put in against this deck, seeing as it's somewhat a rogue. Well, it's a rogue deck, so I wasn't sure if he was quite ready for it.
Oh, and here comes the secret rare. He's gonna ramp 2 more life. That's pretty good.
That is so good. Snatches away the field from Magenta.
And think about it. He only tapped 1 of his 4 energy for that. It's just because he had a Z battle card and the opponent and Magenta had 2. Like, that's honestly insane for a secret rare. Just tapping 1 to have that kind of effect.
It swings all the momentum. Like, all the momentum just goes back to Android 21 now.
See, it looks like he went down to what, 3 life?
Yeah, he's down to 3. Yeah, this
so
is this.
Like, yeah,
go ahead.
21 only went up by 1. It didn't go up by 2, so he's at 5.
Still taking all the control, because now I want to see how VG is going to go ahead and play himself out of this, swinging in with the leader, so he can get that extra draw. Seeing another card before he commits any of his energy to anything.
Well, I guess this is the weakness of 21, right? Because for his floodgate effect, he does need to see battle cards on the field, and right now he can't floodgate him because he has no battle cards.
He has no battle cards.
So with his 3 energy untapped, and now he plays the Bojack. He got rid of the Z battle card, which is good because that's a pain. That's a pain.
Looks like Void's giving him some information as to what this card's going to do when he's playing out the Bojack.
See, and that Bojack, not the most familiar with villainous, but we could always look it up. The power of the internet.
The power of the internet. I think he's going to go ahead and send something from. Well, I think he sent something away with the Z battle card when he played it out. But.
So this Bojack, leader's Magenta, and your turn at the end of battle. Use card combo. Play this card from your drop area. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and this card is greater than or equal to the current energy. Return it to his owner hands. As we see, Void decided to counterplay it.
Yep, with Kusu. And Kusu has a little bit of a hand destruction effect of its own when you play it out.
Allows making him discard as well, which also helps a lot because it gets rid of attack. But because it returns after it's played, of course, the Bojack's auto still went through, and Void had to get rid of the cards under the 21 to keep it alive. And here goes a Deborah. We see 1.
Yep.
Perfect timing. He had 1 energy open.
Yep. So VG Time tried to hit him with that villainous, and then Deborah ends up protecting the hand.
Which is great timing for Void because he really needs these cards in hand, because it looks like he's running pretty low. It looks like he only has 3, possibly 4.
Both players played really well the whole time. There was hardly any mistakes made, I think. And they both had, perfect timing on their counters. The ebb and flow of this whole game through 3 rounds was really, really good. It's really nice to watch this play out.
Yeah, I know Void just started playing the deck, so he's still figuring it out. And of course, we kind of see that a little bit, right? Because between Magenta, VG Time has been playing Magenta. He knows the deck. He knows how to play it. He knows how to play it against other decks, as in Void, who's still learning it. He literally just started playing not too long before this.
Okay.
And there's a lot of times where I'm like, hey, you should probably do this. You should probably try this. And he's like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that.
Okay.
So,
well, I know he's on your team there at Team Nimbus. Let him know he's looking very good. Keep up his training.
All right. So So how do you feel about 21? Like, why do you feel it fits in the meta and like how it fits in the Dragon Ball Super card game?
Well, everything that you need to know about Android 21 has pretty much been on display here over the course of these games with Magenta. I mean, how it's able to just restand its inner, like when you have out your boss cards and you're able to restand up to 5 energy. I mean, that's an effect that is just crazy. And I mean, you're already blue, so you're always going to be restanding. You're always going to be able to defend yourself. If he was playing anything other than this villainous that's going to be ripping his hand, I think he'd really just explode. But I mean, 21 is just crazy with how long it can hang around and then how big it can hit when it gets to its end game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think this might have been a misplay on his part. We'll see if Void does have another android in his hand because, I mean, yeah, you got one off the field, but at the same time, like you could have used that as energy to
Mm-hmm.
keep more open. But we'll see what ends up happening here. As you see, he did swing with his leader and takes a life. So now VG time is down to 2.
Mm-hmm. And we saw. I don't want to give away the ending for the second round between these two guys if you haven't gone and seen it yet. But going down to 1 life against Android 21 is not something you want to do when they always have a bad omen hanging around where they can just play that out and get rid of your last life. So,
Oh yes,
yeah, there's just so many ways that 21 can win.
You know what's funny? We even seen people experiment just because 21 in general just has so many good cards now. Is people even experimenting with the starter deck? And as you mentioned, that VG time does go down to 1 life.
Mm-hmm.
Now it doesn't seem like he has, because then he probably wouldn't have taken it. Probably thinks he has a game next turn, but Void does not have the fire drop. What I was saying is other people are experimenting with 21. So like they're trying like new things with her, like even starter one.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually got burned by that in locals. Someone played the 5 drop 17 that played, and then played 3 of the 5 drops that burn from their energy. And I was like,
really?
oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I had a game, but whatever. You see, he's gonna swing with the 20k, and there goes on the gate. Ooh, the Goku Kamehameha.
Yeah, the Goku Kamehameha with the counter.
That's pretty good.
That's what side decking can do for you, because I don't think he had that. I haven't seen that this whole time.
And all of a sudden he has it.
And all of a sudden he has it. Yeah, that's what side decking can do for you.
Looks like he's passing turn here. I mean, right now in a good spot. VG time has 1 life. He has some cards in hand, not a book, but he has a good amount, especially compared to what Void has.
He's got to do something now, though. I feel like he's got to do something now.
Starting off by swinging with the Broly. Oh, he's going to clear field, not going for leader, so he's getting rid of Deborah.
There's Bean.
Bean is always good, despite the errata.
Yep, despite
no
the
matter
errata.
what anyone tells you. No matter what anyone tells you, Bean's always good. It's not a 4 anymore, but it's always good.
Yep. I mean, that just speaks to what blue can do. I mean, you're untapping, you're gaining 5k on your leader. Make yourself a little bit more of a tank.
I mean, also, plays
that Broly.
The other Broly to pop the secret. Oh no.
Yeah, minus is 25 on the field when you play it out, and then it gains triple strike for the turn.
Oh, that's rough.
There's another Deborah when he tried to text the hand on the villainous.
Yeah, see if he got in the gate.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards.
As he swings with the Broly and triple strike, and it's only 1 cost. It's so ugly.
I know.
So ugly.
The thing about Magenta is that it doesn't really have like a villainous like counter play. or something like, something like that. If it had something like that, I think that could help the deck see maybe a little bit more play.
Savoy did have the Dimension Magic to live. And now we're seeing VG Time swing with leader.
Throwing in a super combo.
Just plays everything for free. It's scary.
And he still has 4 energy too. So he still has lots that he can work with depending on what he's got in his hand.
Yeah, he's also playing it very smart. A lot of players, I mean, this is kind of like, one-on-one and how to deal with 21 is just one at a time. Don't flood the field. Just one at a time. Just go through it and figure it out. Like it's still difficult to deal with, but this is a very good strategy to kind of balance out what 21 can actually do.
The little 1-drop Garunix play, triggering another Villainous potentially. Oh no, Absolute Release Ball.
It's pretty good. Make him waste an energy. Makes him have to reconsider some of his plays. I mean, it makes sense, right? To use it on that, because even though he has a card in hand, it's like we were going to drop a card anyway. He's going to play it again. Does Void have another?
Nope.
Doesn't look like it.
And see, this is the thing with the Villainous. It just kept eating away at his hand. Turn being passed.
Yeah, making it a kind of deck where the keyword, even though it's limit 1 to each card, like the fact that you could play so many cards for so cheap and just be like, oh, okay, I'll just then I'll just do that. Then I'll just keep it going and keep making you discard. It's like, who needs Ribrianne when I can tap 2, play 2 battle cards and do the same thing?
Right.
Deciding what to charge. There's a couple cards left in hand.
I know it gets even harder to figure out what to charge when your hand's been ripped away over the course of the game. And it's like Magenta's hanging around on 1 life. I know he's probably just hoping, let me see a bad omen.
Man, I'll dig so hard right now and try and find it. The last thing you want to do is be in life. Again, I don't know how many he plays. He might just be a one of. The other thing too that also he has that helps him too is, he charged a negate, the 17 negate. Ooh, that's interesting. What I was saying is he also has he's playing the peel off Mayan Shu, the new TP cards, which, if he plays another triple strike again, he can at least try and Protector of the, is that Protector of the People?
Yeah, it's Protector of the People. Nice. He's gonna negate
the new art now.
Grab a 1-drop from the drop area and play it out. And that triggers Villainous when he does that.
Yeah, he only has 1 card in hand. I don't think it's a 5-drop. And that's a lot of board presence. So activate main to draw another one, see what he gets. Oh, he got it. He got the big boy. Now let's see if he can go for game. So he gets rid of all his battle cards. But the problem is with Protector, he's gonna gain 5 for the battle card swing, which will help him a lot since Void only has 1 card in hand. That makes
you know what? Was it Playtime's Over? I think it is.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so his playtime's over. Then that's what he used to grab the. Petrification is what he's going to use for this counter.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And he's like, "Oh, you still got to activate." He's like, "Nah, you can't.
You can't activate it."
So Petrification's so good. Swing the leader, and he has 2 cards in hand.
He super combos out of that leader swing.
3 super combos in his energy. He almost has Exodia. Almost has it. That means he only has 1 left. Unfortunately for Void, he only has 1 card in hand. As you see a tile getting played, get rid of it.
Leader's effect.
And what does leader effect do again?
It lets you play out one of your villainous for 1 energy.
Absolute release ball.
And here comes the Beerus. He tried to absolute release ball, but that Beerus has deflect and offering.
Ooh, that's pretty good. Man, this is real Sophie's choice right here. What do you choose? He only has 1 card in hand, and he's letting him draw.
I think he lost his card. I think Void's empty of cards now.
Yep, because the absolute release ball got countered.
That's right. So he takes the hit. He's down to 2 now. Took the hit from off of the leader swing.
And offering such a good keyword. I love that keyword so much.
Yeah, I do too.
Except when it's on Heartfelt Plea. Which is why I got banned. Swing with the Beerus. Takes a life. Void is now down to 1.
Down to 1.
2 cards help him.
Tapping 1 for Turles.
Which makes him discard.
Tapping 1 for Janemba, bouncing those 2 other villainous back to hand. Yeah. And that's going to be it. That's how he's going to get that game.
Good stuff for VG time. That was a nail biter. That came down to the wire.
Right. Well, I want to thank you guys for tuning into this video. It's been a good battle between these two. A super shy guy. It was nice having you on the channel. Why don't you give some shout outs before we get out of here?
Hey man, appreciate it. Thank you. Shout out to you for having me on here, and shout out to Team Nimbus, and of course for Brian. This is his first time in the tournament. I won 1. I was hoping he would win 1, but to fight another day, I guess. But no, it was a lot of fun. Thank you to Rising Phoenix Odyssey for always hosting this. This is always fun. Always something to look forward to, and I appreciate it. And thanks again to you and all the other creators that took part, man. This is always a pleasure to be a part of, to meet new people in the community.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you for coming on here with me. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.
Thank you for watching the video.